I flashed myself. That's done. Rain is down.
Good job, Greg.
So, dudes, welcome to another Valorant how-to. I ran a couple polls on my community page, and Phoenix was requested by a lot of you, for good reason. Phoenix is, in my opinion, the most versatile entry fragger in the game. With strong close-range fighting capabilities, his ability to quickly yeet flashes around corners allows him to play aggressively on maps with lots of sharp angles and close-range gunfighting like Haven or Split. He's also got a molly and vision denial, and to top it all off, he's got a great intel gathering ultimate that can also be used to pick up kills.
You will not kill my ally.
Triple, but careful now.
Enemy spotted. One enemy remaining. Flawless.
I'll take a look at each ability and its function, then walk through Phoenix's job throughout the round, both on attacker and defender side. Phoenix is British.
Yo, it's T.
I got things to do.
Well, what are you waiting for?
Good.
Oh, excuse me if I'm interrupting tea time. I'll just step out until you've finished.
Phoenix's signature ability, Hot Hands Ground Warmers, utilizes Phoenix's firebending powers to throw a molly. He can yeet it with left click or just kind of toss it with right click. Obviously, Phoenix's molly is great for flushing people out of corners and cubbies on attack, and to dissuade enemies from pushing on defense. The molly doesn't do a crazy amount of damage, and it doesn't last very long, but it does enough to get people out of a spot that they're holding. It's also worth noting that the molly has a certain travel time before it will fall straight down like this. This is important to note for lineups, but when you're first starting out, the area of effect of the molly is so large that most of the time you can get away with winging it. Most of you are Siege players, so I get it if you're asking what is a lineup. A lineup is a predetermined utility throw where your position and crosshair placement need to be exact in order for you to get that utility where you want it. Usually the purpose of lining up a throwable piece of utility is to do it from far away, behind cover, or to synchronize it with a certain timing. Lineups go from being neat tricks up your sleeve to somewhat necessary the higher up the competitive ladder you go. Don't beat yourself up trying to learn a million different lineups, but I think that a good starting point would be to learn up to 2 useful attacking mollies for each map. You don't need to go crazy, but the more you learn, the more tools you'll have in your entry fragging toolbox. One of the coolest parts about Hot Hands is that it allows Phoenix to heal himself if he takes a little bit of damage. It won't replenish his armor if it gets cracked, but it's better than nothing and will give him 50 health if he stands in it long enough, which can be a bolt or two's difference in a gunfight. Unlike CSGO where mollies can be extinguished by smoke grenades, Phoenix fire cannot be doused, not even with a bottle of water. Phoenix is British. Phoenix's flash is a curveball. You think he'd be more of a cricket kind of guy. Phoenix's flash, assuming that you get the full effect of it, lasts a little bit more than a full second. Assuming it detonates right in front of somebody's stupid face, including your face if you time it badly on your swing, which is a lot easier to do than you might think. There are many iterations of the Phoenix flash, and different situations call for different ones. The most basic ones you need to learn are the standard 90-degree click, swing, frag, and peel, as well as the standard 45-degree W key, click, and swing. The 90-degree swing can be done with the counter strafe, making it harder for opponents to track you, and is usually done when you need to stand flush with the wall to keep from being seen. Whereas the 45-degree angle swing is often done for more aggressive plays. Some people like to bounce them off of the ground and then tank the slight blind for a very hard to avoid flash. Some people like to bounce them off of walls so that it detonates slightly behind them. The rationale behind this is that the flash will pop right after it reveals itself, so the orb will only be seen towards the very end of its fuse timer, making it difficult for the enemy to look away or to pre-fire your swing. If you're a new player, don't screw with this yet. It's like trying to learn how to play the solo from Freebird when you can't even do hot cross buns. My probably unpopular opinion on these fancy bounce flashes is that the situations in which they are useful are too slim to bother learning until you become an MLG professional video game athlete. These weird flashes also require a lot more mechanical skill to pull off, like aiming at the ground, then turning around and getting your crosshair up to head level in a matter of a second to follow up on the peak. You can see why if you came over from that game where pressing keys on a keyboard in quick succession is a mark of mechanical skill,
when making League of Legends videos,
rather than clicking heads, that this would be a bit more difficult than this. The bouncing aspect of Phoenix's flash is not what makes it good. If you want to pop flash, play Yoru. That's another video though. There is of course a glaring disadvantage to this flash that you may have noticed when I brought up Yoru. Yoru can throw that shit really far away. Phoenix is limited to that close range. You trade off speed for range. There is a downside, so use that speed to your advantage and swing, batter, batter, swing. Is it still called swinging in cricket? I don't know how this game works, dude. They call the pitcher a bowler. A bowler? A bowler? Huh? They call the batter a batsman. A batsman? A batsman? A batsman? Tonight! James flashes himself. No, not again. You can also pop your flashes through your wall, making them detonate with their full effect on the other side, while you remain unbothered, like a fellow with polarized sunglasses. This principle applies to other smoky pieces of utility, like Viper orbs.
Spike down mid.
Anyway, about the wall, another British thing. It's my favorite Pink Floyd album, and one of my favorite things about Phoenix. Phoenix Floyd's The Wall will deny vision at least for a brief moment to bad guys, provided it's put in the right spot. He can curve the wall by holding down the button you launch it with and moving the mouse, which is useful for getting it flush with pieces of the map sometimes. But most of the time, I send that shit straight across and use it as a way for me to get onto the site and start clearing. That's what it's for. Phoenix's wall is an entry device on attack, and an often useful tool for slowing enemies down or providing yourself with a little escape route on defense.
Going up.
That was stupid.
One enemy.
How do you change your crosshair like that?
I'm using a shotgun.
Like the molly, the wall can heal you, but not quite as fast as the molly.
Placing sentry.
Hang on.
It does pretty negligible damage to enemies that walk through it, so you shouldn't think of it as a damage dealer as much as a way to deny vision to your opponent. Phoenix's ult is a second life that Phoenix can call upon command to W key down a lane and get intel for free, or potentially a kill or two. If you get fragged in your ultimate, you respawn back where you activated it, with full health but no armor. Basically, you lose any armor that you lost in the ult. The armor penalty shouldn't dissuade you from playing aggressively though. That's the whole point of the ability. It provides a face check at no cost to you, and while kills are nice to get if you can get them, it's extremely useful for intel gathering. You should ult close to the site so that you can get the most out of it, but not so close that enemies can camp your respawn. You'll get a feel of when to ult with more practice, but since it doesn't require that many points to get compared to, say, Raze's rocket launcher, it's worth using often. Don't try to get cutesy with it. Just pop the ult, rush down that lane, get that intel, and maybe pop a couple heads too. Here's an example of using a Phoenix ult to clear out Cypher utility on a site.
Elbow.
After dead. Dead in the corner.
She's in the smoke. She's in the smoke.
Okay, let's talk about what you should do over the course of a given round. I'll start on T side because as an entry fragger, your job is to play considerably more aggro than your teammates. Now some of you might ask me, how hard could this be, Greg? Duelists are brain dead characters, just fucking W and click heads. But this is a short-sighted way of thinking in my opinion. I know a lot of people probably say this ironically, but this is the internet and people love to say shit on 15 levels of irony. The primary goal of a duelist is to get onto the bomb site as fast as possible, and clear it so that their bomb planter can do their job safely. Notice how I said fast as possible and not just fast, in general. As an entry fragger, you need to come up with a plan for how you're going to take the map control that you want. You need to anticipate enemy positions and clear them thoroughly. People love corner camping in Valorant. I can't stress how many times I got shot in the back just because I was a moron and didn't check left and only looked right. Listen to Captain Price. If your teammates can trade you, it's not the end of the world, but ideally, you shouldn't put them in that situation. Remember that Phoenix can only buy up to 2 flashes at a time, and he can't yeet them far in front of him. They're specifically designed to work around corners. Using split as an example, if you anticipate a more aggressive play by the defense, the play might be to pop a flash into the garage itself. This uses more util, but denies that aggressive play. Maybe you want to save the flash instead, and use a Phoenix wall to give your team the avenue it needs to get onto the site here. Do you trust your friendly jet to get on a back site and hold rafters? Maybe you can flash out of that wall and go for a really ballsy play. Flashes can also be used as crowd control devices to get people to move, like this clip on Breeze.
One from mid.
With that guy not holding the door anymore, we had an avenue to take the map control that we needed.
Be careful of flank.
One enemy remaining. Team Ace.
By the end of the round, with the bomb planted, your job is to play as passive as you can get away with to let the bomb detonate.
Good shit.
Now, I'm not advocating baiting your teammates, and in some situations, it can make sense to go for a peek.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
Flashes still.
Play safe, play safe, play safe.
She's
No
up silver.
peeks.
Nice.
Nice.
Generally speaking, don't try to peek when the bomb is planted, unless you know for sure you can get the kill.
Let's play together.
Mid. Nice, bro.
On CT side, your kit as a duelist is not really designed to hold anything. Phoenix and Raze are unique in the fact that their util can even be used for area denial at all. Jet has very brief smokes, and Reyna and Yoru only have blinding capabilities. You can't stop a rush by yourself, but you can gather intel. You can flash a lane, either right away or delayed, to mix it up, peek, and if there's more than one, back off and call for rotate. Something that Phoenix can get away with on defense is more aggressive plays that might leave him with a bit less health, which is negated by the fact that he can heal himself a little bit. Keep account of your teammates' utility. If you have the ability to, wall yourself off and get to a safer position if you have to. If you have no utility, your best bet is to try and stay alive. Tell your teammates how many flashes you have. Maybe your Jet can get your refrag with an op on your cross if it's needed. Phantom or Vandal. Generally speaking, because Phoenix is going to be playing up close and personal a lot, you should probably go for the Phantom. But if I know I'm going to be holding something from far away, or if I'm on the map breeze, I'll bring the Vandal instead. If this feels like a lot of information, it's because it is. But I hope this video gives you a good idea of the kinds of things entry fraggers have to think about. I know a lot of toxic people gravitate towards duelists. There's not a lot you can do about it. Just remember that it's not the role that's brain dead. It's just that a lot of brain dead people like to play it because they think it's less involved. It's still an involved role. It's just involved in the fundamentals and decision-making skills that make tac shooters fun. And I'm okay with that. Anyway, if you guys want to see me throw on stream, check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/GregHavener. Shout out to my buddy OG Bobby Ross, who also has a Twitch channel. Links are in the description. He helped me out with the research for this video quite a lot. I run community polls on which agents to review for these videos next. Subscribe for more Valorant content, and if this video raised your Valorant IQ, give it a like and share it with your friends. Thanks so much for watching. Deuces.
Flawless.
Sorry, Greg.
Oh, wait. I almost forgot. Phoenix is British.